Over the past 10 years, I've gotten to spend a lot of time not only looking over the data, but boots on the ground in the field, digging plants, looking at AgriGro trials across the entire state of Montana, plus Idaho, Wyoming. And I used to get kind of nervous, going out to a farm, and it's like, oh man, I really hope we see something. And now I just have no doubt, even when a grower is like, hey, you tell me which side the AgriGro is on, to go out and dig plants just time after time. My name is Amy Gardner. I am an independent agronomist in Northwest Montana. I have been working and serving growers here in the Flathead for just over 10 years now. And I serve them by soil sampling and helping to program what crops they're going to grow, providing fertility recommendations, do a lot of precision agronomy in terms of variable rate applications, putting the right product in the right place at the right time, and do some irrigation management, as well as providing the in-season scouting piece, looking for weeds and insects and diseases and nutrient deficiencies so we can manage the crop in season, and then carry that through to harvest and creating yield maps and profit maps so we can start planning for the next year. My objective as an independent agronomist is to help the growers grow profitable crops, nutrient-rich foods, and manage their farm in a system that works for them. I always say my job is not just agronomics, it's to marry agronomics, economics, logistics, and realistics, because at your kid's birthday party tonight and you need to stay home. Taking all of those things into account to grow profitable crops. So you're a businessman and also a farmer growing healthy food for your family. I met Ross about 9 or 10 years ago now, and we sat down. He was interested in sharing this product with our growers, and just kind of said, hey, we need to see what this is all about before we're going to present it to the farmers in the valley. So we sat down and he kind of explained the technology and the product and what we could anticipate. I was working with another gentleman at this point, and we decided, like, hey, this makes some sense. Let's see what it does. So we set up a grower meeting here in the valley, and every grower in that room decided to try a little bit that first season and do some trials, and they leaned on me as their agronomist to tell them whether it was beneficial and worthwhile for them to be utilizing, and that was 10 years ago. So it's been a ride. The biggest challenge that growers in our area are facing is just, profitability. The rising input costs and reduced or steady, crop prices. That's a struggle. And then just in this geography, we have really small field sizes, and having to transport equipment back and forth across the valley provides an added challenge in this area. But then we also have more moisture here than anywhere else in the state, and so we can grow bigger crops, which helps offset some of those other frustrations. Over the past 10 years, I've gotten to spend a lot of time not only looking over the data, but boots on the ground in the field, digging plants, looking at AgriGro trials across the entire state of Montana, plus Idaho, Wyoming. We're seeing that increased root mass and increased root exudates in the way that soil is clinging to those roots. We're seeing added biomass. In taking tissue samples, we're able to see that increase in nutrient densities and tissue test levels. Run some microbiometer samples that show the biomass of the microbiome, and seeing those increased levels as a comparative tool between the AgriGro side and the check strip, seeing it come through to yield, and then also the benefits to the growers in terms of being able to reduce those input costs. When we're building up our soil health, we're able to cut back on our fertilizer, on our fungicide, on our insecticides, on our trips across the field with a tractor. So just seeing those, business and cost savings, but also just the added benefit of healthier soils. And I always say, these growers, you're in it for the long haul. Some of them own these farms and want to be passing them on to their kids and grandkids, and we're building a farm that is going to be productive and profitable for generations. Some specific instances I've seen with using AgriGro is our ability to reactively apply fungicides versus proactively. So instead of these farmers just programming in a fungicide pass on a pulse crop, on a chickpea or a lentil, where that's pretty much the protocol, we're holding off and for several years have not even needed to apply a fungicide, because by improving the soil health, we're improving the plant health. The plant is able to fight off some of these diseases and funguses that are hitting. It's not to say if something hits that you're not going to, but we're definitely be able to shift that focus from just programming in those things. And a lot of times that's been a really huge savings. On the canola front, same thing with the insecticides. We have some certain insects, the flea beetles and the diamondback moth larva, the cabbage seed pod weevil that hits at flowering, and that we kind of know when they're hitting. And a lot of guys, when they see it, are just going and spraying. And the growers that I work with, it's really nice. We're definitely on a manage when needed basis, and we're out scouting the fields, and there's been a lot of times that we've been able to hold off on those insecticide passes because the insects are going to the neighbor's field where that crop is more stressed and not as healthy, and then we're getting by with the cost savings of the insecticide plus the profitability of more bushels. We deal with a lot of spring frosts in this valley, and a lot of our pastures tend to get hit pretty hard in the springtime, and we've kind of started running with the protocol after a frost to run with the foliar blend. And it's just incredible to go and check on some of these AgriGro fields a week later, and you would never know that they got hit, and it just carries through the whole season. Okay, we all know that farmers get hit with a lot of salesmen and salespeople wanting them to try their products and making claims, and most of the time, almost every time, they're really good claims. And as an independent agronomist, one of my roles is to help the farmer wade through some of that and decide, hey, is this worth trying? Is it not worth trying right from the start? If we are going to try it, how are we going to incorporate this? So that's actually a big part of the job I do, is helping growers to source products and wade through some of these things. So if you're a new grower and you're watching some of this stuff and you're like, I might want to try this, absolutely, A, but B, do it so that you can see the benefits. In that first year, it's okay to do a trial strip. Keep a check strip in your field so that you can see. But also, one of my pet peeves is the grower that says, I didn't see anything. As a farmer or as an agronomist even, I can't walk a field and see a 5 bushel difference. But if you're out there digging those roots, doing those plant counts, looking at emergence, maybe taking the time to have your agronomist or your co-op shoot off a tissue test, I can guarantee you will see something. But it does take some effort to go out and look at your fields and to follow through with that. Yield monitors, if your combine's calibrated, is great, or weighing out those samples after harvest. But I think it's totally okay when somebody comes to you with a product to be like, okay, I'm gonna try it, right? And try it in a trial, but then do the effort to know not only what the benefits are. Is it healthier soil? Is it a larger plant? Is it more yield? Be able to quantify those things, go through the work to quantify.